At the very beginning, he had said that he was going to literally do half of everything. He was going to help paint. He was going to do all the prep work. He just needed my professionalism to get it so that it would look like a professional did it. But he was going to be there doing it right along with me.
Is that why you knocked off more than half of your rate?
Not exactly, but to an extent. Initially, he laid out this contract that looked like a novel. It was huge, and it had all these different individual pricings for different increments of the entire project. And he was sitting here circling up all these different pricings. He was saying, no, I don't need this. I'm going to do this myself. And he's going on to it like he's going to be a major player in it. And so I told him I would do it for $15,000, and that would be including the scaffolding that I had gotten a bid and the material to do it from beginning to end. He says, no. He says, I only want to pay $10,000. He says, but I'll take care of everything else, the scaffolding, the paint, everything.
In your answer, you said that once you received your deposit, you told the plaintiff, we have now entered into a 50-50 partnership.
Correct.
You said that orally?
To which he said, that's correct.
Do you remember him saying that?
He did not.
He didn't say that to you at all?
This wasn't a 50-50 partnership. I was to pay for the paint, which I did. I was to pay for the scaffolding, which the scaffolding never came because he never got to that point. I asked him a number of times, hey, this is your project. You need to let me know what I need to do to help you out here as far as prepping. I masked off an area, I pressure washed an area, and when I would come home, he wouldn't be there.
So what was the schedule supposed to be?
He was supposed to work full days.
Every day?
Yes.
So tell me about the work.
So he would show up at 8 and leave around 11, and that's by reports from my wife, who was working from home. He was never there when I came home in the afternoon, 2:30 to 3 o'clock. Anytime I reached out to him with any kind of direction on how we need to prep this house, he would never get back to me. It wasn't until I came back and inspected that he had sprayed over everything that needed to be repaired, patched, in order to be ready for paint, and I had to start digging back away at that. And in my photo evidence, you'll see where I patched a number of the spots after he had already abandoned the job.
Tell me about this unprofessionalism while on the job.
Well, Bill would drink at my house.
Drink what?
He would drink beer at my house during the job.
At 8 in the morning?
I don't know when he started.
I mean, you said he got there at 8 and he would leave at 11 a.m. Was he drinking between those hours?
Between those hours. And I'd find beer bottles, beer caps, those kind of things.
Well, actually, Mr. Harris and I shared a similar taste for certain kinds of like a double IPAs. And on that,
what are IPAs?
I have drank a couple beers with him.
What are IPAs?
India Pale Ale. Yeah,
so I have no idea
there's what's called a double, and they're very extremely delicious in my opinion. So he likes that same. So once I found that out, I would bring some to share with him if he had the available time. And that happened where we had a beer at the very first time we met, and then we had one or two after that.
Were you drinking while you were working?
No. Well, I would stop what I'm doing and have a beer with him. You know, when the occasion.
Did you share a beer?
I had one beer with him, and that was when we discussed the extent of the contract. There were other times that he was intoxicated.
Were you ever intoxicated?
No.
Go ahead.
And, you know, some of the language he would use.
Like what?
You could see in the text message evidence there. This is some of the typical kind of speech that he would.
So this was after you guys were disagreeing about what was basically happening with the project?
Yeah. He used this kind of language throughout.
So if you had issues from the very start, why did you then give him another check? Because you gave him one deposit for $2,500, and then you gave him another check for $2,500.
I was off to work that morning. He was pressuring me really hard. Hey, you better give me this check. I said, you haven't finished the first part. He kept pressuring me, I said, Bill, I'm going to do this against my good judgment, but I need these things taken care of. And that's how our...
And when he didn't do the work after you gave him the second installment is when this exchange happened on text because you wanted your money back.
Yeah.
Can you look at the text messages we're referring to?
Of
Under Exhibit E.
Of our texting, yeah.
Why the foul language?
Well, I definitely lost my composure, and there's a very good reason for it. It's on page 18 on August 19th at 9:27 the morning, after I've sent him so many pictures of my progress, and I'm really making great strides. He says, hey, looking real nice, Slick. Nice work.